friends, my name is Kayla Rayne, and today I'm going to be talking about my 5 absolute favorite books that I read in 2017. I know that 5 seems like a small list, but I really wanted to think about the books that really made an impact for me over the course of the year, books that I've just really been thinking about, as well as books that I have recommended a lot to other people. Those are really true marks of books that I consider to be favorites. So this list wasn't very hard to compile. There were 5 very clear books that I just kept coming back to and thinking about and knew I really wanted to talk about in this video, and I'm very excited to share them with you today. I will go ahead and say that 2 of the books mentioned on this list might be a little bit of a cheat moment because they're actually series, so I'm going to mention more than one book, but that's okay. I think it still totally counts. And I want to start that off with Every Heart a Doorway and Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Seanan McGuire. I'm counting these as one that I'm discussing because I did read them both this year, and I think that they really go hand in hand together. I love that they're both these really beautifully written fantasy worlds with really amazing characters and really great character development in such a short book, because these are both novellas, and I just adored the way that Seanan McGuire writes her characters and her plot. It makes it feel like a complete story, even though it's such a quick read. I really loved these. I loved Every Heart a Doorway for the mystery behind it, and I really enjoyed the diverse cast that was included in this book, and I really loved the way that Down Among the Sticks and Bones discussed gender roles and gender norms. I thought that that was really excellently done, and I am so obsessed with this one, and of the 2, I do think Down Among the Sticks and Bones is the best so far, but they're both like really amazing and definitely favorites for the year. Next, I have The Disreputable History of Frankie Landau-Banks by Lockhart, and this book is actually a 4-star read for me, but it's still one of my favorites of the year. This book was super feminist and amazing and really discussed unlikable females in general, and I think that the book did a really good job of that discussion, as well as just having some of my favorite tropes in it. It's set at a boarding school. There is a mysterious society. Hijinks ensue at the boarding school over the course of the semester, and it's just really fantastic. I love Frankie as a character. She is just super snarky, really intelligent, and at times unlikable and imperfect, but in a way that I think is very endearing and relatable. At least for me it was, and I really enjoyed this. And even though it wasn't quite a 5-star read, because unfortunately while it is quite feminist, it's not really intersectional, I still really enjoyed this book, and I just kept thinking about it, coming back to it the entire year and recommending it to so many people. The next book that I have is Dear Martin by Nick Stone, and this is such an incredible debut. I can't believe how I was impacted by this book, and it's not a very large book, but this book has just really stuck with me. I did read this in November, so it hasn't been that long, but even in January I'm still thinking about it. I'm still thinking about the message. I'm still thinking about the characters. This is such an incredible book. It is a contemporary, it's a debut. It follows a main character who at the beginning of the book is wrongfully arrested, and as the book continues he just applies the teachings of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to his life, and looking at that from a social justice aspect, and it's just really incredible. And everything in this book was incredibly intentional, so you really didn't need that many pages to explore the message of the book, and I thought that that was really incredible, that the way that the author explored all of that. Next, I'm going to talk about The Diviners Lair of Dreams and Before the Devil Breaks You, which again is 3 books, but I'm gonna kind of talk about them all in one. I read them all this year. They were so incredible. I read them on audiobook, which I cannot recommend enough, but I loved this series so much. This is a historical fiction with a paranormal aspect, and it's mysterious, and there are some horror elements in it, and it is just incredible. The cast of characters is so lovable, and I found myself so attached to these characters and this storyline, and each book unfolds a different plot that just like makes everything so much more amazing and so intriguing. And I didn't think that was possible after reading the first book, because I was already so hooked. But then I read the second one and then the third one, and now I just really want the 4th one in my hands right now, but I don't even know when the release date is. But this has definitely been a favorite for the year. It is so incredible, and the hype for this is not a wrongfully hyped book, and I really, really, really want so many people to read this because it is so incredible. And finally, I have my absolute favorite book of the year, which if you follow me on Twitter, this is probably not even a surprise, but it is The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. I adore this book so much. This is a YA contemporary, and I picked this up knowing I was going to love it because I loved Becky's previous book so much, but I didn't anticipate falling so deeply in love with this book and the characters and the storyline. I love this book so much. I've read it twice in 2017, and that's really saying something because I love a reread, but it's usually not back to back like that. I adore the characters in this. Molly is such an incredible character and so relatable and so nerdy and so fantastic. And this book is so incredible with the way that it includes such a diverse cast of characters and really makes them all a part of the story. I really enjoy that. I love the fat rep in this. I love the really romantic relationship in this. I love the friendships, the family, and the end of the book with the wedding is the cutest thing ever. And I think the reason that this book has become a favorite for me is because it is such a comforting read to pick up. 2017 was kind of a rough year, and I found myself really reaching for contemporaries to find some comfort and to find a little bit of a break from the real world. And this book really provided that, and I love it so much, and it has such a special place in my heart now. Anyway, that has been it for today's video. I did not have a hard time narrowing it down to 5. Those were the 5 books that I just kept thinking about as I was thinking about putting together a favorites list. They always came up when I thought throughout the course of the year, you know, what's been one of my favorite books so far that I've read this year, and those always just kind of popped up in my thought process. I will leave links in the down bar below for my other social media sites such as Goodreads, Instagram, and Twitter, and y'all should totally check me out on there. As always, thank you so much for watching. Stay weird.